to make sure we are streaming. To make sure we're streaming. Let me hit the button here for the SideQuest live. It looks like we are live. All right. And yeah. This is social distancing with Team SideQuesting. Can anybody besides me hear the video or anything going at all? Any
You want me to check?
Oh, it looks good.
I'll
It
definitely
looks good.
check.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit the tweet button because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and animals, everybody in quarantine, it is the Side Quest Live Social Distancing Edition, aka what we do every episode because we're always social distancing because we're not in the same room when we record this, uh, especially now during this quarantine situation. Sorry, is my nose really red? I don't know what's going on here. Did I just touch my face?
You
I
did.
don't mean to fucking. I'm sorry. I have a super itchy. I was just telling the guys before the show started. My beard is starting to get a little bit too long, and the hairs are like touching the bottom of my nose. And so it's if you see me doing this, at all during the episode, it's because it's itchy and scratchy going on there. Hey, I'm Dolly Demovsky, the bearded one supposedly. Although you can't see Sam. Sam actually has a much nicer beard than I do. Sam Dixon.
Hello. My beard is intense right now because I was growing our basketball season beard, and now
Oh,
I've just
nice.
rolled it
So they
into
have to wait till
quarantine
next
beard.
basketball season. It's like
Yeah,
you're gonna look like ZZ Top by the end of the tournament.
I'm close to that already at this point.
And the box all the way on the far left over there, the far left, of course, the far left. Aaron Scratty Bones. Well, it would be Tom Johnson, but Aaron Scratty Bones Kelly.
But Bernie.
Go vote Bernie.
Vote Canadian.
Vote Canadian.
Yeah.
Who's Canadian Bernie? Is there Canadian Bernie?
Uh,
Bernier.
Bernier.
Actually, I think Bernier was a right wing. There's a.
Unbelievable.
I gotta look up his first. I gotta look up his name. Jagmeet Singh.
Okay, I actually have
Is
heard. I've
Canadian
heard of
Bernie.
him. I have heard of him because there's videos of him.
Yeah, he's the leader of the NDP, I do believe.
Yep. Good times. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun episode, guys. We have all been stuck in our houses for the week. I don't know about you guys. Who has left their house more than once? Raise your hand.
Not including work.
Not including work. Well, you had to actually go to work, didn't you?
Yeah, my store's not closed yet.
So you have been working. Okay, Sam,
Yeah.
have you left at all?
Yeah, I've tried to get out like once a day just to kind of stretch them legs.
Well, I mean, not like walking, like driving somewhere, going somewhere.
Now, I mean, I'm trying to think. On Monday, I did go get food.
Okay.
But that's been about it.
All right. Yeah, I think today was the first day that I've left the house since Saturday. We went to McDonald's. Of course, I get McDonald's because I'm like, screw it, we'll just do the fucking drive-through because that's the only thing that was open. It was crazy packed. Get home, we got McDonald's, my daughter and I, and then later on in the day, my wife says, because she actually is working at her office, she's like, "Oh, did you guys get free McDonald's today?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Kids eat free from like 11 to 2 p.m." I'm like, "Son of a bitch, just missed it." Now I know McDonald's is free lunch for kids. So there you go. Pretend you have a kid in the car.
So my store's not closed yet, so I still I get up and walk to work every day. And between my house and my store is where Tim Hortons is.
Oh yeah.
So over the last week or so, I've seen them go from normal store to we're still open, but there's you can't stay here. Like you can come in and you can get your order, but then you got to leave. Like you can't stay at the tables. Which has really pissed off all the old people that spend all day, every day at Tim Hortons. And then they put up a sign today saying, starting tomorrow, the front door's locked. You can only go through the drive-through. So I was in there on my way home for coffee, and I was just like, so can I just walk through the drive-through? Like, how does this work? And they're like, well, no, because we don't want to take the chance of passing anything on through the drive-through. And I'm like, you're still fucking handing people in their cars coffees and shit. Like, what are you talking about?
So the
what
sick
if
people don't get other people.
What if
other
I leave
people's-
my payment on the side of the road here, and you walk out with my coffee, and you pick up the money?
I'm just gonna put this gift card down.
Well, it's like now it's just like, well, do I get into work tomorrow? I can't get a coffee because they're fucking drive-through only, and I don't own a car. So it's like, do I wait for the first customer to come in and then bribe them with a discount in my store to go get me a goddamn coffee?
Oh shit, that's awesome.
I'll knock the tax off. Go buy me a coffee.
Do you guys have a Facebook page? You could do like one of those promotions where it's like first 5 people to come in with black coffee gets 15% off.
That's actually a really good idea. We have a Facebook and a really popular Instagram. I might do that tomorrow.
I was told, was it? No, somebody else told me that they had like home coffee creamer that you can buy. That's the Tim Hortons Double Double creamer.
Mm.
So I'm definitely gonna pick that up. Works perfect for a Keurig. Because I have the Tim Hortons K cups here.
I've got a jar, like a
jar of old Tim Hortons. Oh shit! I just spit all over.
A can of Tim Hortons coffee. You can just buy their coffee and make it at home.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah. So hey,
guys,
global pandemic. How do you guys feel about the apocalypse?
I'm doing okay so far. I'm sick. I don't think with the pandemic. I going outside. I've been going for walks and jogs and stuff. And of course, today I went out and it was pouring and like low 30s in the U.S., which is like, I don't know, 0 in Canada. I'm not sure, 1, 2, and I'm hacking and wheezing again. Have been about a week that I've had this cold, so yeah, I fully blame myself. But I'm home, and I don't know about you guys. I've been like 3 times as busy at home as I normally am on regular work days. And I think it's because my boss thinks that because I'm at home, I can juggle more, but I really can't because I'm doing like the homeschooling thing with my daughter, helping her out with her stuff, monitoring her so she doesn't like hop into the iPad and. She tricked me into playing Minecraft today. That's part of school, Dad. Okay.
So listen to this shit. So it's March break. Or
Happy first day
break.
of spring.
Yeah, totally. Or spring break. I guess you guys don't have March break in the States. You call it spring break,
we call
right?
it spring break, yeah.
Yep.
But it's the same week. It's like the week of St. Patrick's Day.
It's different for every school.
So, all right. So here it's the week of St. Patrick's Day, like Monday through Friday, and then you go back to school on like the 20 whatever.
For colleges, it's this week. Yes, usually.
Yeah. So school went out, and then they said we're extending the break for 2 weeks because of the pandemic. And then apparently today they decided that now the school year is just done.
Oh, and you got in your area?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're just done. Our school here gets out at the very, very, very end of June, like June 27th or something.
Wow.
So everybody,
Holy shit.
That was what was going around, and then all of a sudden, I was talking to like a couple of teachers today, and they were like, "Yeah, the faculty's looking into like online schooling." Mm-hmm. But a lot of the students don't own computers, and none of the schools have resources for that. Like when I went for my journalism degree, I did it through an online course. Mm-hmm. And the way they were set up was they sent me the first semester's worth of work, like the books and like the outline, and then I could essentially just work at my own pace. So I did it all in about a week. And then I hit them up, and I was like, all right, send me the second semester's worth of work. And then they didn't until the start of the second semester, because that's how all their shit is set up. And now they're talking about finishing out a school year online with nothing set up. And I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? Like, you guys are like, this is fucked.
Crazy. Yeah, I think Kansas said they were doing that same thing where they're just shutting the school. They're like, it's done. The school year's over. They get out of school earlier. I think they're like end of mid-May or something, end of May. But we're like the second week of June by us, second or third week of June. So I mean, I'm fairly confident that school will still be going. My daughter's been doing the homeschooling thing, and she's actually kind of finished everything, just about everything for this week. They handed, I don't know how it was for you, Sam, in your area, but they handed, obviously with all the kids you have that you would know this, they handed, like we found out Thursday night that they were doing this at the schools. So thankfully they gave a day for the kids to kind of get in the know that Friday, although this would have been good to know a couple days ahead of time. But So the teachers just dumped a bunch of homework on the kids to last them for the week. And my daughter's a really quick learner, so she got everything done like yesterday. So she's been kind of ahead of the game. So I'm giving her little things to do here and there to keep her going. But that's giving a lot of the teachers the capability to just kind of catch up on some of the online stuff. Like the email we got from the school today actually basically said that a lot of the teachers are spent the first few days doing training for online instructing and online teaching. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a very old school idea or a very old school way of life, and that people just can't do things online anymore. Online yet, they're not trained. So and then my daughter actually will get her online work next week, I think on Wednesday.
You guys think it's weird how all of a sudden there's so many jobs that are like, oh yeah, you can totally work from home, where a month ago that was not possible.
Yep.
Oh no, it's not feasible for this line of work, and now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you can totally work from home.
It's weird. It really is weird. I think for my company, it wasn't so much that you can't work from home. It's that the manager, and this is basically every large corporation in the U.S., is that managers like to micromanage and hover around desks and make sure you're doing your work, which is like really bad for how it's been like this the last like 8 years, 8 years, especially since the whole open office idea became popular amongst managers, which, by the way, actual people in the trenches fucking hate open office. Managers love it because managers can see what everybody's doing, and it makes everybody not feel like they can be productive if their manager is always hovering around. Personal experience. And so my manager doesn't listen to this podcast. He care less. he's awesome.
Open office, standing desks only.
No, I've made it very well known that we do have standing desks, but I've made it very well known that I hate the open office concept, because I used to be able to just sit at my desk for 8 to 9, 10 hours, just get lost in my work, pump up a bunch of good ideas, be really productive. And now I'm not. Now I'm getting checked up on, whether it's by coworkers needing information or the manager or whatever. And so I thought being at home, I could actually focus. This is going to be awesome. But my fucking Skype has been going off nonstop from people needing information and checking up and doing this. And I'm like, okay, well there goes productivity. Like, actually, my productivity has dwindled, I should say, at home. Not because of I'm being at home, but because everybody's constantly checking up on each other as if they can't get their work done if they're doing somebody else's, if somebody else isn't inputting in them. So, yeah, there you go. It's a well-oiled machine, all right. But now, everybody can work from home amazingly.
It's wild.
It's
brave
wild.
New world.
Brave new world. But let's talk about good things like video games. We've been held up. We've been inside our homes for the last few days, definitely for a week. Sorry, I'm touching my face. I told you guys. We've had time to play video games, so I'm curious to see what you guys are playing.
Oh, let me go first.
Sure.
I haven't played anything.
All right.
I've been so insanely busy that I get home and I go to bed.
Yeah.
Like I'd be in bed right now if we weren't doing this.
And that's why you mentioned in our chat, you're like, if anybody else, if we're gonna have a packed house, I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Like, it's been so absurdly busy that it's like I get up, I go to work, I make it about 2 hours from when I get home, and then I just lay down, and then I just curl up. And then I get woken up before my alarm clock by my upstairs neighbor working out, because you can't go to the gym because it's a public place.
Oh shit! Yeah, they shut the gyms down here.
Yeah, but so I haven't played anything. I haven't. I don't have the time or the energy. But it's funny because everybody seems like, oh yeah, now that we're all stuck at home, we're gonna have so much time to play things. And I was saying this earlier that like this is essentially everybody's living the way I've lived since the mid 2000s. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned at the start of the show last week that like I used to play sports and stuff like that. And after I blew my knee up, and after I blew my knee up and stopped doing that, like this is how I live. Like I don't really leave my apartments, so like nothing has changed for me in terms of like time commitments or time availabilities. It's just like, well, I get home from work and I'm tired, and so I don't really have more free time or anything like that. just can't do it. I just want to go to bed. I just want to lay down, curl up. I bought a really fluffy blanket, and that's been really good.
All right, I need to get a weighted
Yeah.
blanket.
I really want one of those.
Yeah, I think that's our next one of our next major purchases. Let me plug my Stream Deck in. So my setup right now, if it's gonna blow up everything, I'm sure. My setup right now is I'm using my daughter's the desk we got for my daughter for her homework, which is a tiny little desk. But that's what I've been using in my office for the last 5-6 months. We've been podcasting from, and it's been okay. I can fit 2 laptops on there, but not really anything else. I have my giant ass Wacom Cintiq. It's a 27-inch giant touchscreen that I sketch on, and I have a laptop. My work laptop's off the side of it, and on top of the Cintiq, I'm actually I've stuck my actual podcasting laptop. So it looks like a complete mess here. So shit's all over the place, but whatever.
So by my count, do you just say you have 4 laptops going right now?
I have 1, 2, 3. If you count my wife's and my daughter's, 5 laptops. My personal owned ones are 2. I
didn't want to do this early, but Sam and I have been talking, and Dally, we're staging an intervention.
This is how I get better internet.
We think you have a problem.
No, my office. Okay, I gotta unplug this shit. No, my office laptop is provided, so that's good. My wife has a laptop. That thing is about 4 years old. My daughter's laptop is her Chromebook's the newest laptop. It's like 3 years old. She used that for school stuff. And then both my laptops are about 5 years old or older. So, yeah, I'm not in. Everything in my house that I own for myself is pretty old. This giant ass drawing tablet is from work, and my work laptop is here. And then it's a little bit of a mess there. But I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to do much gaming either. Yeah, I'm seeing stories online of people. Oh my god, this is great! I'm playing all. This is awesome! I'm finally catching up. I'm like, do you people fucking work? If you're work from home, how do you manage this shit? Because I sure as hell am having a hard time doing it. I'll say what I'm playing. I'm still trying to get through Wolfenstein 2 because I haven't had a fucking moment. Even though Saturday and Sunday I didn't do diddly squat around the house. It was like preparation for the quarantine. But because I'm so busy, I am actually towards the end of Wolfenstein 2, so I don't have anything going on this weekend. This is the first time I'm just going to be hunkering down, not leaving the house at all, so I'm going to be definitely plugging through that, finishing that off. I'm also going to be playing, obviously, Animal Crossing, which I'm super excited about, but yeah, I'm Wolfenstein 2, still awesome. I downloaded the demo for Trials of Mana, which is, obviously, it's the Secret of Mana. Was it the Seiken Densetsu? Is it the name of the series in Japanese? I bought the collection a while back, which has like the old version of that game on there, like the Super NES version of that game on there, that never came to the US. And then they're doing the remake, so the demo's out. Give that a shot. It's okay. It's nothing super special. And then there is a big Square Enix sale going on right now, and I made the mistake of picking up. I finally got Dragon Warrior 3 or Dragon Quest 3, so that's good.
Nice.
Because it is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Probably a top 3 RPG for me because it's like the definition of JRPG. Has classes and all that kind of stuff in there, jobs. But it's the sort of progenitor of all the modern Dragon Quest games is Dragon Quest 3. And I had a lot of influence on Final Fantasy games, I think, going forward, too. So I just picked it up, and I now have 1, 2, and 3 all on this. And, of course, Dragon Quest 11S. And then, so that's glorious. I've been playing that here and there. I only got a few hours into that. Anthill, which, if you have a Switch, pick up Anthill. It's from the dudes, or the team that made the SteamWorld games. It was kind of their first real breakout game that they made. It's basically, it was an iOS game for a while, but you're kind of guiding It's a tower defense game with like bugs. It's actually the graphics aren't anything good. Sorry, but the gameplay is actually really addicting to try to get the just to try to raid other ant hills and evolve your ants and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. I like that. I need a good tower defense game every once in a while because it's just sort of this mindless. Can't get any more mindless than bugs. Sorry, PETA. And then let's see. Do I have anything else on here? So this is the Switch, right? There's my Switch, right? And I also have, let me get it. I have not opened it yet. I've had it for a couple days. This Switch right here, look at this beautiful thing. How gorgeous is that box, at least, right? Oh, look at the back of that. Look at that. It's got little Animal Crossing people. It's beautiful. Sam, did you get one of these?
I do have one, yes.
Yeah, and you've already opened yours, I take it, right?
Yeah, well, it's my partner's Switch,
Yeah.
so that's what she'll be playing on.
So here's my ish, right? So I wanted to trade in my current Switch to put money towards this new one, right? Because I don't need a second Switch. My daughter has a Switch Lite. We're good to go.
Well, I mean, you're in luck because GameStop is an essential service.
GameStop's an essential service. I can go trade it. But I couldn't find. There was no GameStop available, and these popped up. I think Wario64, good friend of the show, Wario64 tweeted, "Hey, it's back up again." So went ahead and bought it. Gave him a little bit of a kickback, of course. I'm sure he makes millions off of selling stuff. And picked it up, and it showed up at the house a couple days ago. And I sprayed it with a ton of disinfectant. The poor UPS guy, as he was dropping it off, he was kind of like standing at a distance and like really reaching out to hand it to me. He wouldn't move his position, so I kept kind of encroaching a little bit to get closer to the box, and he was freaking out. But brought the box inside, sprayed it with disinfectant, as one should do. And then waited a little bit of time, and I have the box here, the actual game, the console box, and I'm trying to decide where I can maximize the payment for this Switch that I have here, the old Switch, before I transfer everything over. So, if worse comes to worse, I may return this guy if I can't sell my original Switch for a decent haul. By decent, I'm thinking if I can get like couple hundred or like 150 to 200 there, then that's gonna be that'll be worth it for me, because at least it'll all go towards this new Switch, and it'll cover everything that I've needed to cover. But I'll be opening that in anticipation of ye old Animal Crossing tomorrow. I can't wait. Jeff Grubb, friend of the show, Jeff Grubb, has loved Animal Crossing. If you've read his review, it's mighty recommended. Watch the video.
So I don't mean to cut in here. I just remembered something I wanted to talk about before we got into the actual segment of the show. So one of my regulars came into work yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And she works at a pizza place, a couple of towns over, and she goes, "So the wildest thing happened to me." I'm like, "All right." She goes, "Restaurant got a call last night from somebody on the phone placing an order, and then they said, you guys deliver still, right?" And we said, "Yeah, of course we do." Because my province, there's only 15 confirmed cases so far, so like a lot of the measures haven't gone into effect yet. She goes, "Yeah, of course we still deliver." And the lady on the phone goes, "Great, my husband and I just flew back from Los Angeles, and we've been forced into quarantine. So can you bring us food?" And they were like, "All right, can we have your credit card number? Because, we'll ring your credit card number through, and then you pay for it on our end, and then we'll drop it off, and you can come out and get it once we get the hell out of there." And she goes, "No, we've only got cash." Right?
Okay.
And so it turned into a whole thing where they had to accept cash in like a sealed bag and leave like pizza and garlic fingers like on a step, and fucking ridiculous.
Oh geez. Yeah, there's stories like that you're hearing all over the place. Of course, as I touch my nose again, I'm sorry. I told you guys I won't be able to not do it. Luckily, I washed my hands beforehand. But you're hearing stories like that all the time. We went through the drive-through today. The dudes had super crazy. They were they would hand people. They would take their my card. The guy took my my credit card. Swiped it, handed it back to me. He was wearing plastic gloves. As soon as he hands the card back to me and shuts the window, takes those gloves off, throws them away, and starts putting a new pair of gloves on. So they're extremely wasteful right now.
Yep.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But anyways, being quarantined and playing Animal Crossing is a good thing. How about Sam? What are you playing? Are you able to play anything, Sam?
Play Doom yet, Sam?
I have not played Doom yet. I'm probably gonna sit on Doom for a while. It took me like a year and a half to get to Doom 2016, so I'll probably wait for Doom Eternal.
I played the 2016 on the Switch. I think I had it for the PS4. Then I played it for a little bit, but it was totally fine on the Switch. I'll wait for the Switch version of Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I've just been trying to like just clear out a couple of stuff that I've let go to the wayside. So I got a little bit further in Luigi's Mansion, and that's still a good game. I played a little bit more of that Bleeding Edge beta this past weekend.
Yeah.
Was up, and whether it be my level is high enough now, or there's just like a good amount of people that are actually following the instructions to that game now. It definitely played a lot better. You could actually see team fights as opposed to one person just going in and dying, and you could see people pulling different strategies and stuff like that with team comps. So that game I think will be good. With Games Pass,
who is that, Ninja Theory, or who was that?
Yeah. So with Games Pass now, it'll start with hopefully a pretty good player base. I think it's going to be $30 otherwise. So who knows? I'm going to try it when it comes out into full release, at least just to try to see where that community goes.
Sure.
But other than that, it's been funny because my entire PlayStation gaming crew has been off work, so we've been jumping into even more games of Smite. Well, no Smite, unfortunately. But that group is now looking for something new to play, and hopefully next weekend we'll be playing that. What is it? Resident Evil Resistance, I think is what it's called. The beta for that 4v1 game. So I think
beta's out. Is it next week that beta is out, or is it today?
Well, I think you can download the client today, but the actual play times aren't until next week. But yeah, I think there was some discussion in the group to get Rocket League re-downloaded for everybody, so I might have that for next episode. And then, of course, just anticipation for Animal Crossing, right? I feel like now there's a couple of copies that must have gotten out early today, because I
saw friends of mine posting the pictures of their copies of Animal Crossing that came early.
Oh, really?
I just absolutely furious.
Just hopping on YouTube, I saw the first 50 recommended videos were all just like, oh, I got Animal Crossing early and I time manipulated, and this is how every upgraded house looks, and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to watch all this content one day before it happens.
I thought there was an article that said it's impossible to time manipulate stuff. You can't manipulate the events.
You can't manipulate to the events. It checks real world time for the actual events, but I guess you're able to, if you set your Switch offline, you're able to at least time jump forward and backward. But none of the events, and I don't think any special characters will visit you if you do. So whether that be the bug person or some exclusive shop or something like that. You won't be visited by those people while you're time manipulating. So should be fun.
Fucking excited! I am so freaking sorry. Pardon me.
And are you staying up until midnight to play a little bit, or you just?
No, I ordered it. I have the cartridge.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I got the cart coming in is because I'll be able to play it on my Switch, and my daughter will be able to play it on her Switch Lite as two separate islands, if
So Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah, it's a game.
So you start out that game.
Yeah.
And you essentially move into your new town or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, what are you naming your town, Dally?
Oh, I have well, sorry to cut you off there, Aaron. So my daughter and I are trying to figure out, we were on
you should name it Schittsburg.
Schittsburg. That's the usual one. No, our first island, our town in was it New Leaf on the 3DS, we had no idea what to name our town. So when I asked my daughter, I'm like, "What do you want to name our town?" She goes, "I don't know." So I named it Idunno, like Aydunno. So that was the name of our town in on New Leaf. And I thought we should name it Isle Dunno, like the island of Dunno.
Boo.
Boo. And she's like, "No, let's name it Harmony Isle because Harmony was the cruise ship that we were on a few weeks ago." I'm like, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Because we're going to do the joint island. You kind of have to do that with family members. And then I thought, well, let's name it Isle of View or Isle, we'll use the word Isle as I will do something. So we're still trying to come up with a name, in other words. We have not settled one. What about you?
I'm either going
Schittsburg, isn't it? Damn
Schittsburg. No, that's just what we call Pittsburgh out here. No, I'm just kidding. I love Pittsburgh.
How about that, Pittsburgh, guys?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've been struggling for the entire past week. I think I'm just gonna give up and call it like Celeste, or was it? I was watching Outlaw Star a little bit the other day, and he runs like Starwind Enterprises, so I might just call it Starwind.
Okay, Starwind. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I try to make a name that's I don't know, not meaningful by any means. But something we can remember that's stupid. Like all my islands have been something stupid. So maybe this will just.
I've never played Animal Crossing, but I've definitely played Stardew, and that game makes you name your farm. And I'm pretty sure that I named my farm like the Get Paid Farm or something like that.
Get paid.
Well, you can use more letters and numbers in this latest Animal Crossing. So there's that.
You can make people have catchphrases in this game. So like if you're friends enough with them, they're like, "Oh, what should I say?" Like you should call people jive turkeys, or like just say "wickety whack" at the end of like every sentence. But I guess this game now has a reporting feature. So if you visit somebody's island and it's like, "Oh, nice to meet you. What a cool day we're having here." Racial slur. Like
so in other words, like every Nintendo game online.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with Nintendo games is that they have for a company that's so family focused, a really bad checks and balances for naming conventions. I've mentioned the naming of Mario Kart Tour, which I'm playing right now. I'm playing some multiplayer games. By the way, multiplayer games on Mario Kart Tour fucking hard because there's already people who are incredibly savagely good in Mario Kart Tour. So, yeah, they are. One person definitely hacked because they were so far ahead of everybody else, and they were impervious to a lot of the weapons we were hitting them with. But I did manage to get them to spin out, which let me get into first place, so that helped. But yeah, I don't know. We'll go from there. Okay, cool. Should we get into some news stuff? Because shit happened this week. We got our new Xboxes and our new PlayStations, and now all the answers you would ever want about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X.
Yep,
so many teraflops.
I did not include the actual specs in the news report because who gives a shit? Because unless you're way into tech stuff, like all of that was just like who cares? The one noteworthy thing that I think came out of that PlayStation 5 presentation was the PS5 will be PS4 backwards compatible, and they made no mention of the PS1 through 3.
There
was space on that graphic. What do you mean?
They made a graphic. Yeah, they did. Well, what's interesting also is that didn't they say that was it somebody mentioned they said that it's not fully backwards compatible. They're working to get most of the top 100 played PS4 games to work on the PS5. So it's not actually backwards compatible.
Great job, Sony.
Meanwhile, the Xbox Sex is supposedly fully backwards compatible with every generation of Xbox.
Well, and it supposedly boosts those, where it sounds like PlayStation's just able to run, where the Xbox is going to actually do some like AI scaling and whatnot.
And
I have the numbers here, so whenever you guys are ready, I can read those numbers, all those flops.
700 teraflops. I don't think PS5 has a release date yet. I don't think that came out, but the Xbox Series X originally posted. It was originally posted as coming up for Thanksgiving 2020, so November. That got very quickly changed to holiday 2020.
Yeah, and I think Phil Spencer? Somebody came out and said, "Yeah, no, it's well, that was wrong. It should have been holiday 2020 for the three that don't make it out there." So yeah, the stats. So let me read a few of these technical stats here, and you guys can tell me everything you know about flops. So as I scroll down the page here, we've seen the Xbox Series X in pictures before. They've actually revealed this thing back in December, I think, the Game Awards, right? And Microsoft really kind of went all in and showed a lot of the chips. I mean, they're laying out their digital schlong. They're just putting that thing out there and saying, check it out, Sony, what do you got? And I think they know, part of me believes that Microsoft knows that Sony may not actually be ready and willing to show a lot of that stuff. Like Sony was probably planning on having some big event in the lead up to E3. And now that's obviously been canceled, so they're sort of scrambling to do something. But Microsoft said, now's our opportunity. Let's go into full detail. I mean, these were both GDC talks that they were going to have. Xbox obviously has been out there a lot more often. They have a 8-core CPU. The same thing with the PS5. Both of them have 8-core CPUs. The Xbox Series X has 12 teraflops. I mean, teraflops or whatever. The PS5 has like 10 point something teraflops, I think.
How many teraflops in a gigabit?
I have no fucking. I have no idea. Those are they're literally just numbers to me. It's
what is okay?
Would they
what
be
is it?
gigaflops?
What is a teraflop? Like just like what is it? What is a teraflop? What does it do? What is it measuring?
Hey Alexa, what's a teraflop? I have no fucking idea. It's just
is my Pentium 4 processor a teraflop?
Do you guys remember when Phil Spencer wore the 3 teraflops shirt or something like that to at E3 or one of the press events in the past? It's like 3 teraflops. But what's interesting to this is that so both of them are going to use the 4K, Blu-ray Ultra HD Blu-ray drives. Both have relatively the same performance targets of 4K at 60 FPS up to 120. The Xbox Series X, the Series X is going to have a 1 terabyte.
The Xbox X.
Yeah, 1 terabyte internal SSD, whereas the PS5 has something like a
865 gigabyte custom SSD.
They're both custom SSDs. So it's weird that they didn't do the full terabyte, and I'm curious as to why. But Sony said, "Yeah, don't worry about it, because you can do the, you can use a plug-in, any freaking external drive that you want." Which, there you go. The breaking news: the governor of California has placed the entire state under a lockdown. All 40 million people there, so that's good. Hope you guys are all watching this podcast. Microsoft has basically memory cards, right? They said, hey, you can buy these expansion cards and plug them in the back. Memory cards are back. It's weird to me that they've made such a big deal about SSDs, and instead of having something that's a big enough SSD, because a terabyte is not a lot. I've filled up my terabyte. I can't load any more fucking Modern Warfare stuff on there because I have, I think, like 300 gigs plus of my terabyte, or 300 gigs plus of my hard drive in my PS4 is just Modern Warfare. And so it's, and then you bump it up to 4K, I think some of these games could be shit, two or 3 games per hard drive, depending on how big those games are. So it's definitely something that we're going to have to watch. But having plug-in external drives, doesn't it kind of defeat the purpose? I mean, I don't know how fast SSDs are, but like USB SSDs, but they can't be as fast as something that's a direct plug like Microsoft's version.
Well,
But I don't
from
know.
from what I understand, at least watching both of those things, is Microsoft's like you can plug a USB hard drive into it to store either Xbox One and 360 games and run them off that, or just use it as like a transfer thing. Like you're gonna have to have Xbox Series X games installed on the internal memory
Yeah.
or those expansion cards. For PlayStation, that's the same system where you're gonna have to have the PS5 games installed on the PS5. But it sounds like they're going to open up to any NVMe drive that meets their standards. And of course, like every single conference where they tout out Mark Cerny, he said a bunch of stuff. And then was like, yeah, of course, there's nothing on the market that is comparable today. But at some point, somebody will offer this stuff, and we're gonna rate them exactly like Nvidia does for their like GeForce enabled screens, and like we'll tell you which ones are compatible. So I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to buy those drives and expect them to work with the PlayStation, and they're just not going to work the way they want them to.
Yep. I'm very curious to see how that's gonna fucking go. Nice picture there, Aaron. Yeah, and then the photographs that they had of the Xbox Series X. I thought it was really funny that it quite literally is the size of two GameCubes duct taped together,
Yeah.
which is just absolutely perfect because here we are back at that again. But that is a monstrosity. If you've seen those photographs, it's a monstrosity of a device. It's just huge. Kudos to Digital Foundry who was able to go out and check this thing out and compare the size of the Xbox One X to the Series X. I mean, it's giant. And I'm looking at my.
I really want it.
I mean, it totally is a monolith. You almost kind of want this thing on its own stand in a weird way, like a separate little stand. I mean, I could see kind of a cool little, home, garage market for people making neat stands and stuff for their Xbox One X's. So there you go, or Xbox.
I want a shoulder mount for mine.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome, like bazooka style. But they're huge. But
Yeah,
hey, guys, the Xbox fridge is bigger, so you get nothing to complain about.
Laying it on its side, it looks like a shoebox. Like it just
yeah, it does.
Like you
could
put big. 2 of Aaron's shoes in there.
It's so big.
I'm curious. I'm still curious to see. Excuse me. What more there is to both of these devices? Because if it's just SSD, it's like things are faster. Cool. What does it actually mean to me? Like you saw every generation sort of had their quote unquote shtick, right? You had the PS2, Xbox One, the original Xbox, GameCube generation were sort of the first ones to get into like fully embrace high end disc stuff with Blu-rays and things, or with discs. I think the PS2 had a Blu-ray as well, right? PS2 Blu-ray player. And then you went to Xbox 360 and PS3, and they went like HD. That was the HD era, and a lot of online. Like Xbox 360 was great for online. Xbox One, PS4 really sort of tuned that whole online experience and controls and inputs and stuff. And then this generation, if it's just SSDs, I mean, not that that's anything to scoff at. I mean, the developers are going to absolutely love it, but what's the thing that's going to make me really want to invest in this over? Because games, I look at my PS4 and Xbox One, both the OG ones, they still look great. The games still look awesome on my TV, even on my 4K TV, still look really good because the developers have gotten so good at making games that, the tool sets for Unity and Unreal and everything else are there. I mean, look at Death Stranding. That was gorgeous. Control was awesome. And in fact, I loved the I forget who it was that posted the maybe Daniel Ahmad or someone else posted the image and said, here's the PS5 stats, here's the Xbox Series X stats, and for comparison, here's a picture of Animal Crossing on the Switch. And I think that to me was like, oh yeah, well there you go. That's how you compare this. It's cool. Stats are great, but I want to see what the games look like and what that special, what's the hook that's going to get me to buy this besides it being the next Xbox and PS5. And now, I mean, I'm still personally leaning towards the Series X. I don't know about you guys, just because they've done a really good job at messaging and really been proactive. Um, and the leaks, I still think the leaks are the only time you'll see me with any type of conspiracy theorist stuff on there is these leaks were part of their overall plan, at least in some way, to anticipate leaks because everything was timed perfectly and the Xbox was always in people's mindsets. But yeah, I mean, I'm really curious to see how, what the actual special hook of these things is going to be. I don't know. What
That
do you guys
special
think?
hook is already here, baby. We got Google Stadia doing it with that
Google
streaming.
Stadia, yeah.
xCloud's the future, dog.
I am
Yeah.
surprised that Sony has not talked at all about streaming or VR. Really, I mean, they
Well,
briefly mentioned VR on their. This Sony briefly mentioned it, but
didn't they
um,
sign that agreement a couple months ago with Microsoft about like working with them sort of for streaming stuff?
a little bit.
Yeah, wasn't there like I think it's got to be bad press for Sony to come out there and it's like, oh, and we're gonna have a live streaming service for all you guys, supported by Microsoft. Like that's probably not exactly the best messaging, especially after the freakouts you had of people when they learned Horizon Zero Dawn was going to PC players. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think we're getting like hints of what that special sauce is. We've seen with that Microsoft, that sort of like dual booting and dual resume, stuff that they have going on. It just seems like
Yeah,
maybe they have a little bit more processing power reserved for the OS level, and it seems like they might be trying to integrate some cool stuff underneath that. Like maybe Snap is back and actually works in a way that you'd want it to. Because I mean, I don't know how many of you snapped your television feed with your games, or what was it? I think Threes was just about the only game that you could
yeah.
snap into the corner and,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna watch football and also play Threes, I guess. So some of that stuff's cool. It definitely sounds with both of them. They seem to be doing a lot more with how you're allocating data, and how that data gets read, even off a disk or off of the memory itself. So I think Cerny brought it up where instead of having like, if you have the same tree 50 times in a level, before you had to store that data like 50 times, where now they're
Yeah.
just going to have it. So you only have to store it once. So, you with compression and stuff like that, it sounds like we'll be saving a lot more space. So, I still think games will probably be around 100 gigs, if not larger, for some of the more in-depth ones. But, uh, hopefully that means that you'll be able to store more than 2 games on there at a time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a smarter usage for sure. I mean, that quick resume is awesome because we were messaging back and forth in Discord. Being able to, for me, having a bunch of games going at the same time and being able to hop back and forth based on how I'm feeling is awesome. And I still use physical media, and we use our PS4 as our Blu-ray player. And in order for the family to watch a Blu-ray, because we still have like some Blu-rays left, like Harry Potter, we got the whole set for really cheap, or it's super expensive. You got to get it digitally. So some of our Blu-rays, I have to stop. Like if I'm playing God of War or a PSVR game or whatever, I have to actually stop playing those games, take the disc out. I know this is like a total first world problem, but it's nice to be able to do those quick resumes as we get more digital with these things, because I can have the Blu-ray in there, pause the Blu-ray, and it sounds like I can quickly go back to whatever game I was playing, and then I don't feel like playing Fortnite right now. I'm gonna pause Fortnite and start playing a different game, and that way I can get back into Fortnite or whatever at a moment's notice. So that to me is pretty awesome from a quality of life standpoint, and it really feels like these consoles are gonna be really good for quality of life. I mean, I am actually really excited about what you mentioned, Sam, with being able to, do the tree replication thing, and how fast you can load off an SSD. I'm curious to see how developers utilize that from like AI as well as graphics and visuals, but I guess I've always got a little bit of hesitation now. I think the Wii U ruined me because the Wii U was announced and I thought this is cool. It's like the DS was my favorite like gaming device, and now I get two screens and it's my home system and it's awesome. I could do two things at once. And the Wii U, for all intents and purposes, laid a pretty big dump on its gaming world there, but
The Wii U was never going to succeed once they promised that you could put the thing down on the floor and stand over it and play golf, and then that
step
never
on it, yeah.
existed.
It did. Yeah,
Did it?
Oh yeah, in the Wii Sports Resort game they pumped out for the
Ah.
Wii Sports Club, whatever it was, they included that in there. So but it was like not advertised at all, and that was like 2 or 3 years after the Wii U came out. But
Come on, Nintendo.
yeah, come on, Nintendo. But even like the Switch, the Switch was like a device that when we first started talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's what I want. I want to be able to plug something in the TV and then just take it with me, and it'd be awesome. And then they fully announced it and showed it, and I thought, I'm not sold on it. I was a naysayer. I think we had an episode with me and Woot, Woot from the Hashtagonist and a few other folks, and I was the ones. Woot and I were both like, I don't know, that's not really doing anything for us. Now the Switch is totally my favorite gaming device because it hits quote unquote all the buttons. But I'm hesitant. I want to see something that's really gonna wow me. Like stats are there, stats are cool, but stats don't win championships, yo. That's fantasy football. There you go. Well, brought it all the way back.
And to like sidestep all the fanboy talk too. It seems like we're in the case again where, on paper, one console is weaker than the other. But in the long run, that's not going to matter because these developers that are going to release their games on both consoles are going to release them in a spec that works on both.
Yep.
I think after the first couple months, you stopped hearing reviews being like, if you have a choice of playing this on PlayStation or Xbox, it's like, get this on PlayStation. At the end of the day, it ended up not mattering. For third-party games, it won't. And for the first-party stuff, they're going to look great on whichever console they're developed for anyway, because that's in their best interest to make it look good on the system it only runs on, or in Microsoft's case, PC and the system. I think what's interesting is we've seen the Xbox Series X controller, which is basically just an upgraded Xbox One controller. It has a share button now. Some of the more fancy grip stuff that was only on the sort of more limited edition controllers is also there. And I think they said they made it more comfortable from I believe the quote was for a 5-year-old all the way up to a 55-year-old or whatever, or 85-year-old or something. So I think they've made it a little bit smaller. It kind of looks like a hybrid between an Xbox One controller and the Switch Pro controller. I guess the corners are kind of more rounded on it, and the left and right bumpers. But what's interesting is there is no sort of back attachment. The rumor coming into these controllers were that both were going to feature some sort of back paddles, like a lot of the Pro controllers and some of those Scuff controllers that they sell do. I think it's interesting that we've seen the Xbox One. So who knows? They'll probably come out with a Pro Series 3 at some point, and it'll be an upgraded version. But we're going to see the PlayStation One at some point. And the rumors for that have been nuts. That there's not only are there bumpers on the back, but it's got haptic sensors and going back to the Wii rumors where it's it can read your pulse and it can tell if you're sweating or
what
if you're anxious
stupid
or something like that.
What was that Wii device?
The vitality sensor, which was just one of those heart rate monitors from a hospital that you plugged into. We could use the vitality sensor now, Nintendo. Where's it at? Yeah, so who knows? It would be cool if this next PlayStation controller wasn't just a DualShock 5 and it's just kind of the 4 a little bit modified. And it had some of these cool features, but at the same point, now that we've seen the Xbox One and it's kind of the same-ish, I'm worried. Well, not worried, but I just feel that the next PlayStation 1 is also probably going to be just kind of same-ish, since you're not going to want to develop a controller that's it is 15 new buttons. It's got a pulley system and all types of shit. Developed for this. And you're somebody, it's
it draws water out of wells.
Yeah, and any third-party game that's on PlayStation, it just uses the trackpad, just does whatever the left start button does on an Xbox already. That's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that I've ever used the trackpad for, actually in a game, was Resistance. Maybe you threw grenades with it, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I
probably.
The only time I used it was when I would forget about it until the moment I would think, "Oh shit, where's the map button?" And it was
Yeah.
always just a big button to turn the map on. It's
Yeah.
it was never. I mean, it was that. Hey, we're gonna put a trackpad on here. Why? It didn't really do anything. But
Just as useful as the trackpad on the back of the Vita.
Oh, that's right. That they had that. Yeah, yeah. And that's so you could play the PS3 and PS4 games. Remember, that's the extra button. Yeah, I like the look of the Xbox. I mean, it is just the next Xbox controller. I mean, they've had these. They're not revolutionary design changes with the Xbox controller, whereas like the Nintendo, every controller is completely different from the last one. But the Xbox controllers have been this really nice evolution, and I dig what they're doing with it. I mean, it's they have those design tweaks of we're gonna round this a little bit, we're gonna put some knurling or whatever on some bumps on this part of the trigger, and we're gonna change the texture on the back here a little. It's all these things that you sort of learn from years of testing and and putting out stuff like the Elite controllers and things like that, and how those affect overall design choices. But I'm really curious to see what the PlayStation controller ends up looking, because they've been using like modified versions of the PS4 controller, right? In some of those leaked images from
Yeah.
from last
Yeah.
year.
There was one photo that had like a bulkier PS4 one that's like the trackpad was a little weird or something, but it could have just been the angle of the photo.
Mm.
You know who we could ask.
Who's that?
We could ask Reggie. He's a big insider.
Reggie is a big insider. Reggie works at GameStop. Hey, do we have any stories about GameStop?
Yeah. There's one. It's not really
Nothing big.
not really a big story. Just GameStop corporate ordering their stores to lie to cops and claim that their stores are essential services to stay open.
What a cluster bleep.
What the fuck is that about?
There are going to be heads rolling. So this was broken by, I think Kotaku broke it first.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, they essentially, GameStop is trying to claim that their stores are essential services because they carry keyboards and mice and webcams and microphones. And they very specifically made a point not to list like video games on their list of things. But
we have Big League Chew that people are gonna need.
And meanwhile, they're not stocking their employees with like sanitary products or anything like that. No gloves, no mask, no hand wash, nothing like that. Yeah, what's up, GameStop?
Good job,
You really
GameStop. Continue to be shitty. I know there are good people that work there because I've met a bunch of like good folks that work at GameStop, but they're just the overall structure of that company needs.
Well, I mean,
Reggie to come in there and kick ass, take names.
I want you to think about it like this: if every store is closed except for GameStop, you can't spend your money anywhere else. Maybe GameStop survives another year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. Maybe it's their only way to survive is that. I mean,
GameStop.
You're gonna see places that sell video games and movies, like the Best Buys. Best Buy at least has some other types of hardware in there, but GameStop is gonna suffer a lot in these types of situations because everybody right now is just doing mail order and digital. And so for gaming and movies and entertainment, digital is the way to go. Like I said, the only reason I'm getting the cart for Animal Crossing is so that both my daughter and I can play on our separate Switches at different times of the day and have different islands if we want to. Yeah, it's a very weird, it's a very stupid, unbelievable thing that GameStop management is doing there. It's just unbelievable. They have the letter that they're supposed to give to the cop, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
To inform the cops that they are in fact an essential service. It's fucking gross.
It's gross. It's
capitalism, man. Gotta love it.
Yep. What else you got? That's
pretty much it. There's not a lot of news. There was the console specs, and there was the release date for the Xbox, and there was the GameStop thing, and there's not a lot. There was the Naughty Dog thing.
Oh, we talked a little bit about that last week, like
Yeah,
briefly.
I thought I remembered us talking about it, so I didn't throw it in there. There's not a lot going on this week.
I
Everything's
think we
kind of
even
slowed
yeah, it
down.
is. I think we even talked about the Nintendo stuff last week and the whatever the Lego Nintendo thing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Uh, Nintendo had an indie direct, which good old boy Jeff Grubb said that they'll probably have an indie direct this week and next week do a full direct because Animal Crossing is debuting.
In terms of getting the
Friday.
message out there, like this is Nintendo's time to shine because they're already doing the stuff that they should be doing.
Yeah, yeah, and in fact, if Nintendo has this direct next week, so first of all, the indie direct it was fine. There was like some neat games in there, um, but I really genuinely think that they saved any type of big indie. I mean, there was a couple things like Exit the Gungeon, and I haven't played Enter the Gungeon except at like PAX East, walking around and get pulled in one of those places. So I know that game has a following. And there's a couple other games on there that people were interested in. But it's all points to them having a big because after tomorrow, Animal Crossing Day, we don't have a single thing that Nintendo is going to be doing. We have zero ideas what Nintendo's going to be doing the rest of the year. Like they have not announced really anything. And we'll find out. Maybe next week there will be this direct because the supposed rumors are that I think there was a leak for Xenoblade Chronicles, the remaster, coming out in May,
Hmm.
like towards the end of May. So that's a thing. There's the big rumor that Zelda 2 is apparent, or Breath of the Wild 2 is apparently going to feature big on this, or be a part of this next direct, and that may be their big game this fall. A Metroid tease. I think that was one of the rumors. These are all just all internet rumors. A Metroid tease, something Mario related, and then a bunch of ports to kind of get them through this year. I think they were sort of anticipating no one is anticipating the situation that we're in right now, but I think they were sort of anticipating more uh, Series X and PS5 stuff to dominate the headlines. So they were probably just ready to put out sort of their empty out their backlog of remakes and ports and stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start pumping out some pretty interesting content as well. But I don't know. You're right. This is kind of their time. This is what they do best. Everybody's digital, and everybody stops and listens to Nintendo. I'm still looking back at that fucking sleeper of a presentation that Sony did with the PS5. And I like Mark Cerny, but holy shit. First of all, Garth, yeah, like I spitting image of Garth. Sony hyped this presentation up across all their social channels, their blog posts. Check it out. This is it. The road to the PS5. And then it's just Mystery Science Theater 3000 with a very sleepy Garth staring at with a screen in the corner. And then every once in a while you would have a technical roadmap. It was just it was just so bad, so badly done.
It felt very like stunted in like a
Yeah.
world that is now like kind of like cool. Look at this. How cool is this?
Yeah.
Here's a cool animation to lead into somebody talking for a second. Instead, it was like a book report on why the
Mhm.
PS5 like is going to work really well, but all the info you actually want to know isn't going to be here.
Nope.
It was, and I say this as somebody who genuinely enjoyed watching those old Konami E3
Yeah.
pressers.
Yeah.
This was difficult to watch.
I turned it off. I could not. At one point, I just gave up. And then I remember
Yeah.
turning back on later on, and it was still going. It was like a 50. I thought, oh shit, it's a 55, 56 hour minute presentation. It seemed like 56 hour, 56 minute presentation. I thought, well, they're gonna be really revealing some cool things. And then, yeah, like about 10 minutes in, I fucking checked out, and I went towards. Then I
Yep.
waited like a half hour, and I thought, let me check back in and see. Maybe they're showing off some games that show this kind of stuff. But I logged back on, and it looked like a giant. It looked like a huge Matrix style. I think you even mentioned the Matrix at one point. It just looked bad. It was just like charts, lots of charts.
I could have sworn that it was already like past the hour mark, and then I looked at the clock, and it had been about 15 minutes.
How long is this going?
Holy fuck!
Well, there's plenty of time that they're gonna have to do that. To do things. So No one's going anywhere for a long time now, especially poor Californians and who knows, maybe the rest of this country as well, going on lockdowns and stuff. But we gotta stay positive. We gotta keep talking video games. There'll be more news. We hope next week. Maybe there'll be a direct. Maybe Sony or Microsoft will surprise us. Maybe there'll be a game launch. Are there any games coming out this week? Doom, which is getting some great reviews, and a lot of folks are playing that. And yeah, that's it. That's it for this week episode. We've been talking for about an hour and a half now ourselves. I think it's time we bottle this sucker up. Any final words for this week, Sam?
No, other than, hey, if you are going to venture outside, go get food or order food from your local businesses. They're the ones that are going to be hurting. McDonald's is still going to be here after the war.
After the war.
So, like, make sure that you, even if your favorite joint didn't previously offer takeout food or deliveries, like, hey, maybe they will, because there's a couple bars down here that all of a sudden just start delivering food around us. So, I would hit up your local establishments and try to support them. And yet, don't go outside. There's plenty of reasons to stay inside nowadays. Yep. Please do it.
Only go if you're picking up food or going to the doctor, and hopefully you don't have to go to the doctor unless you're really, really sick.
Yeah, and if you need to get outside and like take a walk, just make sure if you see somebody coming, cross to the other side of the street. And just kind of, you can wave and say hello and be neighborly. Like they're not going to kill you.
I did it on my walk today. We had somebody do that yesterday. We were actually walking behind, or a couple of days ago, we were walking behind a lady and her daughter, and we'd seen them around the neighborhood before. We were about, 20 or 30 feet behind them, and we were walking just a little bit faster than they were. And I think they heard us coming, because as soon as we got close enough, they booked and started walking in the street, and then we passed them, and then they came back up onto the sidewalk. So, social distance, my friends.
Yes, everything you know and love will be there once this little experiment is over.
Except your jobs. Everything maybe. Maybe. Anything from you, Aaron, Scratty Bone Switch affiliate, Kelly?
No, I don't know, man. I've been living like this so long that it's endlessly fascinating watching people try to adjust. Like, I don't really have any advice because I took to it like a fish to water. Just I'm not a social person really. Like in person, I prefer being at home alone, playing video games, talking to people online. So the whole people going stir crazy, not being able to go to the bar or whatever, like, it just kind of goes over my head. Okay. But I figure everybody will make it through.
We'll make it through.
People will figure out that Discord has a video conference, and they'll just turn that on 8 hours a day.
Chat with people. Enjoy yourselves. Yeah, I'll throw down with if there's ever a time to live stream anything, everybody's watching because everyone's bored. And trust me, people are all excited. I can finally catch up on my Netflix queue. I guarantee you, by the end of this weekend, people have cleared out their Netflix queues because that's all they've been watching. So take up streaming and stream something. If you're playing music, I was actually watching some folks over the last couple days. Just were picking up their guitars and streaming on Facebook, and I thought this is actually pretty cool. I didn't know my friends were so talented. Unlike the folks at SideQuesting who have zero talent whatsoever. And I thought that was really cool. So if you have some type of talent, even if you don't have a talent, if you just want to talk, start streaming, and there's plenty of people out there. We're all learning kind of new ways to communicate. And actually, I will say one thing. It's really interesting to see how places like SportsCenter and see like ESPN and news outlets and things like that all have to do things from like the late shows, the night shows. They all have to do things now from home or from separate offices, and they're all streaming together at the same time, and it's just really kind of a really weird time. But they're all learning to do it, which means invest in any company that makes any. Right now, the market's low. Invest in companies that make any streaming tech. That's probably a good idea.
Yep.
Cameras. I mean, you can buy those at GameStop. Cameras, Twitch. There's all anything esports. Now's the time to get into it, whether you're investing or just doing it yourself. So good. Try to think of good stuff, I guess, in that way. That's it. We're going to see you guys. SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on Twitch. That's where you're watching us. Same thing on the YouTubes, iTunes. Please do the whole rate and review thing, yada, yada, yada. Dolly Domovsky, at Dolly Domovsky. Sam, we can't find you anywhere because you're going to be in your island.
I was going to say, I'm going on an island and none of you are welcome.
None of us are welcome.
Away. No, everybody, my gates will be open, but none of you can be my best friends, so you can't steal my beach trees.
Funnily enough, there's actually an island community here.
Really?
There's a pair of islands that you have to take a ferry to get to from my village. It's like a 30-minute drive out into the ocean. They're called the Tancook Islands.
Drive into the ocean.
I haven't seen any of those motherfuckers in like a month.
Wow.
Like usually they're in the village like every day. I haven't seen any of them.
Staying the hell away from you guys is what's happening.
I figure they're gonna be just fine once our village gets wiped out from the plague.
Where can they find you, Aaron, if they want to come?
They can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Scratty Bones, and they can find me tweeting at that Tom Johnson to see what he's up to.
All right, tweet at Tom Johnson.
He didn't answer me.
He said he wanted to be on the podcast tonight. So you know what we can do? Maybe we could do like regular nightly streams because we're all going to be bored as hell over the next few weeks, anyways. So that might not be a bad idea. We'll do our regular like group podcast, but maybe if we're bored, sometimes we'll just hop on streams and stuff.
Just kick it live, have a conversation.
Do a group play. Somebody just screen share something while we all hang out.
Yeah, sounds good. We can do that. Play some Animal Crossing.
Have a big side questing game of Civilization 6.
Ooh, we're living Civilization 6 right now in a weird way. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next episode of The Side Quest. We love you. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wash your damn hands. Bye-bye. Bye, friends. I keep saying it because I have to